Important thing on the rivet gun is never ever point it at people, because this has got a lot of energy, especially if you're using the, this is called a safety spring. If you're using a safety spring, you can be a little more cavalier. If you're using this spring, you definitely want to be careful. As I mentioned before, for the rivets you're driving, you probably want about 45 psi in the regulator. You can adjust it up or down, probably 10 psi in each direction, and you'll just have to drive the rivet more quickly. It's important to drive the rivet in about 6-ish impacts of the rivet gun. If the rivet gun comes like this, if it takes more than about 10 tries to drive the rivet, you're probably going to work hard on the rivet to such a point where you won't be able to drive it at all, and you'll have to drill it out. So you want about 6 whacks of the rivet gun to set the rivet. When you're holding the rivet gun, you want to hold it like this, with your sort of meat of your hand or something that's got mass back along the shaft of the rivet. I mean, the shaft of the gun, like kind of like this, not like, don't hold it like this, even though you kind of think it seems like you get better results holding it like this. I'm going to move over here. Similarly, for the bucking bar, you want to balance the bucking bar on 2 fingers or something. It kind of depends on the bucking bar, but for this one, you balance it on a couple of fingers. And then you put the gun on first so that it's applying some pressure to the rivet. Then I'm going to adjust this so the camera can see better. And you kind of balance this guy on the back side. And like I said before, you want to press harder with the gun than you do with the bucking bar. And you don't have to press super hard with either of them, but you definitely don't want it sort of skittering around. So I've got the rivet gun here, kind of a fair amount of pressure on it, put the bucking bar, a little bit of pressure, and then that feels really good. It's a little overdriven actually, I think, but we'll see. Oh, that's very overdriven. So here's an example of an overdriven rivet. The head there is very large. It's kind of pushed everything out. It's kind of because these dimples are a little small, but it's just life. And like I said, if you weren't flying in this thing, I would leave that rivet there. I wouldn't hassle drilling it out because it looks good on this side. And we need one more rivet. Okay. We'll do the same thing again. The pressure's, I think, a little higher than it was before. So we'll do this. So we'll do about 4 whacks here because it looks like it's a little strong. That's a little small. You can kind of, one thing that's actually helpful is you can kind of press your finger against the backside of the rivet and you can look at it to know the size of the shop head without switching the piece around. Yes, that one's going to be pretty good. So, this out. That's also a little overdriven, but such is life. So this one's not so great, that's not so great, that one's very good, that one's very good. And if you had to drill a rivet out, the way you drill it out is you take a punch like this, a spring-loaded punch. They're adjustable, so you can adjust the pressure. You always want it set for the highest pressure the thing will do. You'll find a small divot in the head of the rivet, kind of put there from manufacture time. Press into that. That'll let you put a little hole to use as your starting point for your drill. And then you take the drill, you drill into that about halfway through the rivet. Probably not all the way through. You get a nice little channel that looks like it'll look like that. That one's a little off center, but there's a hole there that we've drilled. And I don't have the right size punch here today, but y'all will want to definitely get a punch that's the correct size for these rivets. You put the punch in the hole, you bend the punch to the side, it'll pop the head of the rivet off, and then you take a hammer and you put the punch back in, you smack it lightly, it'll push the back side of the rivet out, and you just try again. So I think that's it.
Wow. Thanks.
Okay. Awesome.
And just for the camera, what's your name?
Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hester. So, have fun with your project. I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Use that camera.